Rev up your engine! Today we're going to analyze a 2023 brand new Jeep Gladiator. Now it's an interesting story because the guy who brought it over here, he didn't buy it. He's actually renting it. He's only paying 200 something bucks for a whole week because he wanted to see, gee, do I want to buy one of these? I'll rent it for a week and see what I think. So this is an American-made Jeep, made in the United States here. This has an American V6 engine in it, right? It's a decent engine if you don't opt for the gasoline, but instead opt for the diesel engine. You're getting an Italian engine then, and they've had nothing but problems with them. The first two generations I saw them blow up. I saw people get them replaced. The replacement engine leaked oil, didn't work, didn't last long. They're on the generation 3 now. We'll see what happens with the generation 3 diesel engine in them. But I would be very leery about buying one of these with the diesel engines because of the fact that it's using Italian diesel engines, known for having problems, which they do. In this case, as we look under the hood, and it is a Jeep, so you can whip the whole thing back here. Lots of working room if you need to, right? A V6 that's been around for a while. They've modified it, and they've actually made them a lot better than they originally were. Interestingly now, there's a lot of plastic parts. The old ones rusted like mad, so a lot of the stuff's plastic now, which of course won't rust. Don't have to worry about these fenders rusting away. They're made out of plastic. Jeep's version of a pickup truck, but it's got a very small bed. This particular one is just about 5 feet. It's not a particularly big bed. But a lot of that has to do with it's got a decent amount of room inside here. And of course, it is a real Jeep. You can take all this out. You can see the roll bars over there. And you can ride it around as an open Jeep. You can see they're ready for our modern society. They got some killer speakers built into the roll bar too. There's your transfer case. 2 high, 4 high, neutral, and 4 low. Now, if you know anything about Chrysler products, the problems they always had in the past were really crappy automatic transmissions. Well, in the case of these, you really don't have to worry about it for 2 main reasons. If you don't get an automatic and you get a standard, it is an ASIN. It is a Toyota standard transmission. Excellent transmissions, right? But as you can see inside here, this is an automatic transmission. But the automatic transmission is a ZF 8 HP, and in layman's words that anyone understands, it is an Austrian-made transmission that has 8 speeds. ZF makes millions of transmissions each year and sells them to various companies. And they are excellent transmission. Yes, they're very complex, but they can generally last for hundreds of thousands of miles, just with fluid changes every once in a while. They are really well made. And when we take this for a road test, I'll show you. I'm predicting it's going to be extremely smooth because all the ones I ever checked out that were working correctly, they shift like a dream, and they can last a really long time. I've seen them in the past in Chrysler products, and they always worked out okay. Of course, part of that is Chrysler doesn't make it, the Austrians do, and they're close enough to the Germans that they care about what they're making, especially if they're making transmissions that they sell to other companies. Now, I asked the owner, we're going to road test it too, but I said, what do you feel about the tranny? He says he loves the way it shifts because it is an 8-speed Austrian transmission. It's not like the Ford GM disaster area 10-speed that they built for trucks and for the Mustangs and Camaros. It was a Ford GM joint venture that then fell apart and they broke back apart again. Kind of like trying to get cats and dogs to live together, and it didn't work out too good. Well, in this case, this transmission isn't one that's always hunting for gears. Believe me, the Austrians, the Germans, if they get a level of technology out there that's working, they keep perfecting it, they really work well. Because understand, if you have a company like ZF, what do? They perfect transmissions. They keep making a little better, just like the Japanese generally do. A little better, because they're selling them to other companies. And the other companies, they don't want people complaining. They want them to do this, this, and this. They don't want them to hunt for gears. They hear from the clientele, we don't like that other transmission you have. It hunts for gears. It feels sloppy. These don't. And they've been making them for quite some time. It's not like it's some brand new design. Been out quite some time. They sell millions of them every year. And they're really good transmissions, actually. Now, like I say, this is a real Jeep. We have an actual differential in the front. like a real Jeep. This isn't some little joke quad. Oh, it's got some little drive shafts and CV joints. It's an actual axle in the front and one in the back. It has a frame. The body here is bolted onto the frame. This is not unibody construction. Now, of course, this is going against the direction of our society. This is a full frame vehicle. It weighs more. Unibodies are cheaper to make, they weigh less, they're going to get better gas mileage than a full frame vehicle. But in terms of reliability and especially off-road, this is an actual off-road capable vehicle. This isn't them saying, oh, here's an off-road vehicle. No, this is an actual off-road vehicle. As you can see, it's got plenty of clearance, and this isn't a lifted one. It was made this way. You don't need to lift them anymore for practical purposes. Since it's a high vehicle, weighs quite a bit, has four-wheel drive capabilities. Of course, it's not going to be the greatest gas mileage thing on the planet. Now, that's one of the reasons some of the guys say, well, I'll get a diesel, at least they're better. I would not buy one of these in a diesel for that reason. Now, if they ever got their head on straight and decided, we're going to put Cummins diesels in these, hey, I'd have no qualms about buying one myself. But as it stands, you're going to buy one of these, I'd only buy it with a gasoline engine. I would not buy it with the Italian-made diesel engine. It's nicely appointed. Really nice looking alloy wheels on it. And as I said, it's a real Jeep. See these hinges there? You can take the windshield down just like a military Jeep. They're still making them like real Jeeps. This is not a Jeep Renegade, which is a rebadged off-road Fiat 500. This is an actual real Jeep. And they're selling quite a few of them for that reason. This baby is rated at 16 in the city and 23 on the highway. And let me tell you, that's if you're driving like a turtle. You push this thing hard. I've seen a guy had one, he was getting 12 miles a gallon in the city. So, it's not for gas mileage. It can't be, it's heavy. It's four-wheel drive. It's got big wheels, more friction. You can't get good gas mileage out of a giant vehicle. That's just a fact. Unless you go to strange things like hybrid technology, even full electric, but you know, that costs so much money to make, you're spending all that much extra money, and when you really add it all up, you're probably not going to save any money at all. So let's put the hood down, take it for a spin. Now, he rented it from Enterprise because he said he didn't want to get arrested by Hertz, so there's a smart man on you. Start her up. And it does have a push button start. I'm not a fan, but look, it has a real emergency brake. Not one of those stupid little electric buttons. A real one. You're going to go off-road and stuff. You need a real emergency brake. Now, as we look around, it's got a lot of power outlets. We put it in reverse, and we'll see a pretty nicely set up backup camera. You can see that car that just drove by. There wasn't any latency. It was live going in. Actually, it's not a bad shot. The sun's starting to go down. And it's a Jeep. And it looks like a Jeep. They didn't try to make it look like a luxury car. It has very comfortable seats too. So let's take it for a spin. Now here we go. The automatic door locks just locked. And hey, you can hear the power. Very smooth shifts. Now he says, well, it's kind of loud inside. Yes. Now the V6 engine generally has enough horsepower to get this thing going. There's no argue that, you know. It doesn't really need a V8 engine. That's overkill. And of course, it would use even more gas than it already uses. You think 16 is bad? Throw a V8 and see what you get. Here we go to the little racetrack. And I do say, I feel a lot safer in this than in the old CJ. You're not as bouncy higher. Of course, it is Jeep's version of the pickup truck. So compared to the old Jeeps, it's a much longer wheelbase. So it's not like you got the short wheelbase, it's going to be bouncing, feel like you're going to fall off the road. So here we go. He doesn't own it. He's only renting it for a week. So we'll floor this one and see what happens. Oh man, it burnt those tires. Nice sound. Now you see what I mean? It shifts like a dream. The Austrians know what they're doing. These are not Chrysler-built transmissions. Now on paper, this thing lists for like $39,000, and the average new car is almost $50,000 these days. But you're not going to get one for that. They're too popular. There's too many people looking for a small amount that are out there. That's the list price, and you're going to find you're going to pay a lot more than the list price. He's renting this, but the last time a guy brought me one that he actually bought, he paid $58,000 for it. So don't think you're going to get one for $38,000. But it did have that start-stop, and I don't like that. I find that annoying. But what can you do? Smooth shifting. The engine has plenty enough power. Decent interface on the dash. Nothing spectacular, but you know, it's got the things that most people want. You feel like king of the highway. Look, we're looking down on everyone here. You get a nice view from one of these. Oh, there's a Jeep now. And I'll bet you that thing rides a lot worse than this does. This bigger wheelbase helps it out. The stop, start, stop. I hate that stuff. I find it annoying, but that's government regulations for you. Here, we'll creep up a little. There, now it's started again. We can get in front of the guy in the truck. Here we go. Plenty of pickup. And surprisingly, taking that corner, I didn't feel like it was losing control. It's got a decent suspension system on it too. It's not like the old high up in the air Willie Jeeps or the CJs that every time you took a corner you feel like you're taking your life into your hand. It is much more car-like than the old style Jeep ride. Look at this. It idles so smoothly you don't feel the thing. Yeah, that's because the stupid engine turned itself off. Here, now we go again. Well, I gotta say, I find it surprisingly quiet and easy to drive for a Jeep. Overall, has Scotty lost his mind? They're rather unique vehicles. Now, you gotta take my warning. I would not buy one of these things with an Italian diesel engine. Even though you're gonna get better gas mileage than you will with this gasoline engine, they are undependable Italian units. I met a guy who bought one, and he was smart. He paid a couple grand to get an extended warranty on the diesel engine for 100,000 miles, right? I said, well, smart move, because how many miles do you drive? And he said, I probably won't drive 40,000 miles in 10 years. Isn't gonna have a lot of mileage on it. If it breaks, he'll get it fixed up to 100,000 miles. But in my book, if you're gonna buy something, you want something that is built right. And those diesel engines made in Italy are not built right. I haven't yet to see any of them hold up very well at all. So, pretty solid, reliable engine in this thing. Yeah, gets horrible gas mileage, you know. Let's face it, it is a Jeep. All Jeeps get terrible gas mileage. Aside from the fake Fiat 500 one, the real Jeeps, they can go through a lot of stuff. It's a real off-road vehicle. It's not one that says it's off-road, but that's just somebody putting a name on the side of something that isn't off-road. They realize families want to get in them, or people want to have parties in them. They need more space. And yeah, it's got a short bed, but come on, let's face the facts. Nobody's buying a Jeep Gladiator as a work truck. This isn't an F-150. This isn't a Toyota Tundra or a Ram truck. You want to pull a lot, fill the bed with junk. Hey, this is a show truck that can go off-road. Basically, it's a giant toy come to life. Just don't mess with the Italian diesel engines. You thinking about buying one of these? The guy that brought it here rented it for a week just to see whether he likes it or not. Turns out he kind of likes it. Now he just has to decide, does he really want to shell out that kind of money? Well, that's up to him and up to you. I'm just telling you what you get for the money. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.